All right, guys, welcome to our virtual class. This is the first part of our geometry lesson this week. What we are going to be talking about is the relationships in triangles. Now, the good news is we have already done this, so this should be a review. And if you struggled with it the first time, hopefully this time we can strengthen our skills a little bit. So everyone should have these notes. If you don't have them notes, you can print this off. I attached a modified version. If you already have them filled in, you could just follow along, or you can print the new version and then take the notes again if you think that will help you. All right, here we go. Triangle angle sum theorem. So remember that the triangle angle sum theorem states that the measure of all the angles in the triangle add up to 180 degrees. So if you take the measure of A, the measure of angle B, and the measure of angle C and add them together, it'll be 180 degrees. Okay, the exterior angle theorem states that an exterior angle formed by extending any one side of the triangle is equal to the sum of the two non-adjacent angles. Okay, so the two angles that it's not touching, right here, angle 2 and angle 3, if you add those two together, you'll get the measure of angle 1. So the measure of angle 1 is equal to the measure of angle 2 plus the measure of angle 3. Okay, the document camera that I have, it lags a little bit, so if I'm talking faster than I'm writing, that's why. I'll try and keep an eye on it so it doesn't get too off. All right, so let's look at our first examples down here. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. So to find the measure of angle 1, okay, to find the measure of angle 1 there, we're going to add them all up, okay, and set them equal to 180. So we're going to take 24 plus 37 plus the measure of angle 1 and set it equal to 180. Now if we take 24 plus 37, we should get 61. And then we'll subtract 61 from both sides, and 180 minus 61 should give you 119. All right, next let's look at example 2. Example 2 has the measure of angle 1 is an exterior angle. So we know that the measure of angle 1 is going to be equal to the sum of the two non-adjacent interior angles. So that's 76 and 52. So if we do 76 plus 52, our answer should be 128. All right, I'm just trying to autofocus it there. It looks a little blurry. Okay, so number 3, notice this time the measure of angle 1 is an interior angle, and we're given one other interior angle and the exterior angle. So remember that this angle, the exterior angle right here, 104, that's going to be equal to the sum of these two angles, 79 and 1. So we will take, I'll use some colors here, 104, that's the exterior angle, and that's going to be equal to the sum of the two inside angles. Okay, so that's 79 plus the measure of angle 1. Okay, so to find the measure of angle 1, to get rid of 79, we'll just subtract 79 from both sides. So if you do 104 minus 79, you should get an answer of 25. Okay, questions there. All right, well, sorry, I'm used to saying questions there, but obviously you guys can't ask them at this moment. If you do have questions over what I'm going over, make sure you write them down so you don't forget, or star whatever problem, or circle something that you're not sure of so that you can make sure you ask them when we have our live meeting. All right, so as far as 4 and 5 go, remember these ones were a little bit tricky. Okay, you have to find the measure of different angles here. So we're not going to do too many of these. I just want to go over a couple. I'll just go over 4 and 5 and then we'll move forward. Okay, so there's a couple different places you can start here. I'm going to start with finding the measure of angle 1. I see this triangle here, and remember, how many degrees are in a triangle? 180. So if I add all those angles up, it should be equal to 180. So if I take 66 and 84 and subtract it from 180, that'll give me the measure of angle 1. Okay, so I'll add 66 and 84. And that is equal to 150. Okay, so remember what I said, find the sum of those two angles, subtract from 180. So I'm going to take 180 and I'm going to subtract 150. And the measure of angle 1 will be equal to 30. And I'm going to write it in there just so I know that I found the measure of that angle. All right, next is to find the measure of angle 2 or 3. Okay, again, there's a couple different things you can use here. I am going to use the fact that 84 and angle 3 have a special relationship here. Note that they form a linear pair. Okay, if you add them together, you'll get a straight line. So if you take 180 and subtract 84, you'll get the measure of angle 3. And 180 minus 84 is equal to 96. All right, now that we know that the measure of angle 3 is equal to 96, I can find the measure of angle 2 because I have a triangle here. And I'm missing one angle. So if I take the sum of the two angles that I have, 96 and 43, and subtract them from 180, I'll be left with the measure of angle 2. Okay, so I'm going to do 180. I don't have a lot of room over here. So I'm going to do 180 minus the sum of 96 and 43. And 96 plus 43 is equal to 139. And if you do 180 minus 139, you should get 41. All right, moving on to number 5. Number 5, I am going to start with finding the measure of angle 1. I see that this is a triangle here. And this little box here means that's a 90-degree angle. So if I take the measure of angle 1 and add it to 90 and 43, it should equal 180, because those are all the angles of the triangle. So you have the measure of angle 1, and 90 plus 43 is equal to 133. So you subtract 133 from 180, and the measure of angle 1 is equal to 47. To find the measure of angle 2, notice that 43 and angle 2 form a linear pair. So to find angle 2, I'm going to do 180 minus 43, and that will equal the measure of angle 2. So the measure of angle 2 is 137. And now that I know that this is 137, I can find the measure of angle 3. Okay, to find the measure of angle 3, I'm going to take this triangle. I'm given two angles, so if I do 180 minus the sum of 137 and 12, okay, that's 149, and 180 minus 149 is equal to 31. Okay. All right, I am going to skip 6 and 7 and move on to the back here. I'm going to skip all the ones at the top, and I'm just going to go to number 12. Okay, number 12, to find the measure of the missing angles, or rather find the measure of x and then measure of each angle. Remember, we're going to add them all together and settle equal to 180, because all the angles added together of a triangle equal 180. So I have 9x plus 3, that's the measure of angle E, plus 11x minus 21, the measure of angle F, plus 5x minus 2, the measure of angle D. Okay, so I'll combine my like terms. 9 plus 11 plus 5x will give me 25x. And 3, negative 21, and negative 2 will give me a negative 20. Oops, I almost forgot. We're setting these equal to 180. Okay, so I'm going to add 20 to both sides. So that is 25x is equal to 200. Divide both sides by 25, and x is equal to 8. Now that we know x is equal to 8, I can plug in for each angle. So for E, I have 9 times 8 plus 3, and that's going to equal 75. For angle F, I'm going to do 11 times 8 minus 21, and that's 67. And lastly, for D, I'm going to do 5 times 8 minus 2, and that is 38. Okay, and then you can add these all together to make sure that they equal 180. So 75 plus 67 plus 38 does equal 180, so we've done it correctly. All right, guys, that's all I have for you for this lesson. Let me know if you have questions.